Everyone, welcome to Campus Catalyst. My name is Theodosia Agbovi, and today we have a convo with SRC President, and our conversation is going to be on the constitutional amendment. We're discussing fees tied to iCampus, product and policies update on the SRC clock, and the SRC drive. So the SRC President is here in our studios, and he will be taking us through this convo. So let's go for a quick break. When we return, we'll delve into the discussion. Welcome back from that quick break. Now I will introduce to you His Excellency Dawson Samuel. I always say Samuel Dawson anyways.
Yeah.
You're welcome to Campus Catalyst.
Thank you.
Okay. So are you excited about doing this today?
Yes, I'm so much excited to the extent that I have to clear doubts from my students. Yes, the doubts that they have, I need to clear today.
Okay. So now about the doubts. Students talked about the constitutional amendment. I mean, that is our first on the list for the discussion. So about the constitutional amendment, students said you did not pass through the right processes, and also you lacked two-thirds approval from the General Assembly. So my question to you is that, is it true that the constitutional amendment did not follow the proper process, and indeed you lacked the two-thirds approval of the General Assembly?
Thank you very much. Before I should answer whether it's true or not, I would want to make it clear that the SRC president does not amend constitution.
Okay.
We have three arms of SRC: the General Assembly, the Executive, and then the Judicial. So the General Assembly is set to make laws for the SRC.
Okay.
And I happen to be an executive arm. So therefore, when decisions are made at the General Assembly, it is forwarded to the executive, and then I take it up. So this is how it happened. There are about 5 GAs, General Assembly, GA.
Okay.
So one of the GA meetings, they have to move a motion for the amendment. And then finally, there came a time where they have to go and present the proposed amendment to the House for them to accept it. Then we further subject it to academic board to be recommended to council for final approval. So that is what I did. Okay. From General Assembly, I, the president, will take it up and then go to the academic board with it and then defend it or give the rationales behind it, why we are amending. So it is not that we have breached constitution. Two-thirds, that day where the approval was made, was not a motion, but rather a proposed amendment. The motion had already been moved, and a committee has been set by the General Assembly to look into it. Okay. So the day where they went to the General Assembly to vote on it, whether they should accept the proposed amendment, was not a motion. But in the Constitution, it says that the motion should get approval of two-thirds membership of the General Assembly. That day wasn't a motion. It was just the proposed amendment.
It was a proposed amendment.
Yes.
So it is proposed.
Yes, proposed.
Proposed.
Yes. It's not final.
It's not final.
And I took a cue from the time I assumed office. As at the time, the academic board was also reviewing statutes of the university.
Okay.
So the procedures they go through, there was a committee set, which the committee takes ideas and proposed changes from stakeholders. Okay. They put it together, and then they come to academic board, come and present it to us. Okay. So if you have any changes, if you have any agitations towards it, you raise it. If it makes sense, we accept it and make the changes there and there. So it's the same thing that was done when the committee was set. At that time, the motion has been moved already, which has been accepted.
Okay.
And it is not even this year that amendment was set to be done. It happened 3 years ago, but they didn't see the light of the day. So therefore, my administration took it up since it's a continuous administration.
Okay.
So we just have to take it up.
It's the fact that you are emphasizing on that since it is a continuous administration.
Yes, it's a continuous administration. So therefore, when we come, we don't start everything afresh. You have to take it over and then continue. So that continuation was done.
Okay.
Yes, and then we follow the same procedure as academic board does. But ours do not end at academic general assembly. The president must now go to the the academic board and also seek for approval recommendation. Then finally it goes to the council for approval.
Okay, so indeed you change the narrative, or you are still changing the narrative?
I'm still changing the narrative.
Okay, so that leads me to another question. The students complained that you did not provide them with a copy of the amendment of the constitution. The amendment of the constitution, did not provide them with a copy of it. Okay,
so this is what it means. I am not supposed to provide them a copy.
Okay.
So for example, again, when I assumed office, the dean of students is in charge of he's the chairman of the committee to amend the statutes for the university.
Okay, talking about the statutes, emphasize on that for me.
So the statute is a governing document, or is the constitution of the university. Right. So it spells out the rules and regulations and other things that are to be adhered to when it comes to the governance of the university. Okay. So everything is structured in there. So it's just like our constitution as well. Yes. So coming back to that, the DOSA is in charge. He is the chairman for that committee. Okay. Now, this is what happens. When I came to office, I didn't have the opportunity to get that document, the proposed amendment, which has not been finalized, because it's a work in progress. It's not finalized. So therefore, if I will get it, unless it has been finalized before I'll get it.
Before you get it.
So let me just briefly explain the process.
Okay.
It came to council academic board several times. Members of the academic board had to raise concerns, changes will be made. Then finally, everything was put together, fine-tuned. And then now it must go to a council, governing council, which I'm a member.
Okay.
So I only have the opportunity to have access to the proposed amendment when it was finally approved, because I'm a member.
Okay.
And it was only then, after then, the DOSA was able to send me what has been approved by council. Okay. It means that I can use it. But before its approval, what we have to do is that we have to be using the existing document, that is the existing statute, not the proposed amendment. But now that it is approved, now I have the approved one, the current one, not the old one. So in the same way, if you come to our level, something that is proposed is in the pipeline, is a work in progress. How then do we give it to the student community?
So because it's proposed, you have a copy of it, and that is why you can have
it. Again, we take it to academic board. So academic board, they are going to make recommendations. They
are saying you deceived them.
No. So the deceiving is that they are thinking, I have deceived academic board that it has received approval.
Yeah.
But it was a literal something that is in the constitution, the motion. So what is a motion? I'm not carrying a motion to academic board. Okay. No. I am carrying a proposed amendment. So if it is a motion, then first it should seek for that 2/3 approval. But it was a document I'm carrying to academic board, and that is not a motion. So why do I say this? Because if I give you the document now, and let's say something has been inscribed that, okay, to be a president, you should get 3.5.
Yeah.
Or let's say 4.5. It has been shared to the student. They have it. We go to academic board decides that no, it should be 4.0. Is the document that I shared to you valid? It's still valid? No, it's not valid.
Yeah.
So until it attains its approval, I can't share it to the student, because it is not a working document. It's a work in progress document.
Okay. Yes. So that was well explained. Okay, so now moving on to the fees tied to iCampus. What is the rationale behind it? Fees, and then how do you call it? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, results.
Results, yes. Exactly.
Okay. So many students will not understand. I happen to be a finance person. I study accounting and finance, level 400. So I understand the rudiment of finance and the necessity to which measures can be put in place for you to generate revenue.
Okay.
So the school charges students to pay fees, and it serves as an IGF to the university. Now, the university runs simultaneously several programs and activities in a particular year, and they need revenues to do these things. Lectures are being paid, other activities are ongoing. So how then do they run the university if they are not getting our fees?
If I'm getting you right, you mean that because of these reasons?
Of course, students will write exams. There are some logistics you always have to procure, and you use money to procure. So if you have not paid your fees, how then do the university run? So every accountant wants to realize revenue within an academic year or an accounting year.
Okay.
So therefore, what are the measures I can put in place to get my monies before the year ends? Because we are not going to defer the activities. Rather, the activities are accrued. You have to do it now, not next year. So therefore, we need the revenue now, that is the fees, so that we can run programs and activities for the entire students or the university at large.
Okay.
Good. So why are we tying it to the iCampus?
To the iCampus, yes.
Measures must also be put in place so that students will be compelled to pay their fees.
Okay.
The fees you pay is not for a semester, it's for an academic year.
Mm-hmm.
So if it is for academic year, what does it mean? It means that before you even begin the academic year, you are given some number of days or months to pay 100%.
Yeah.
But because the burden and the economic crisis and what have you, management is saying that, okay, we are putting some measures in place. Pay 60% in the first semester and pay 40% in the second semester to ease the burden on you, the financial burden on you. That doesn't mean your 60% you paid means that you have paid your fees for a semester. It is the academic year, just that we are putting it into two folds for you to be relieved of financial stress.
So no matter what you do, you need to make sure that you pay that.
So if today your result has been tied to your fees, what it means is that you paid your fees for academic year, not a semester. So students will come that, no, we have paid for the semester, so why are we not getting our results?
Okay.
No, it is not so. You didn't pay for a semester. You paid for academic year. Yeah. So if you have not paid for academic year, then you shouldn't have anything for yourself from the university until you are done paying.
Okay.
Yes, so it's just a measure to make sure that students can pay their fees on time.
Okay, now that takes me back to the CGPA thing on the Constitution about having 4.0. Or okay, let me just put it this way for you. What is the rationale behind increasing the CGPA to 4.5 and introducing clauses? Okay, let's say I heard clauses like if you are a finance person, let's say you are an accounting student, the meaning that we should get the finance officer coming from that place. If you are a PR person, we should get someone coming from. What is the rationale behind all of this?
Okay, so if you are a finance person or you are going for finance officer, you should come from the School of Business and have an accounting background. That is what is in the Constitution.
Okay.
So when the committee sat, they realized that, okay, if you have an accounting background, any accounting background at all can be termed as accounting background. And it's very ambiguous. So therefore, if someone did, let's say, cost accounting, a semester, you can't prepare books of accounts. You can't do anything of that sort. And the SRC is bigger to an extent that if you are not careful, you are coming to manage a budget, prepare books of accounts, and you don't have idea, you don't have anything about budget and its account preparation. You can't even handle that position. And it is not a trial and error something.
Okay.
Yes, we are in academic institutions, so therefore we should give the opportunity to people that are in the profession, so that we wouldn't say, had I known, we should have given it to someone who comes from the accounting background. No. So that's the rationale.
Okay.
Someone can do, let's say, procurement. No other department does about, let's say, 2 semesters accounting, pure accounting. The only thing you know how to do is just the ledger recording. But when you go to the SRC, the books of accounts that we keep over there is beyond ledger recording. So if you have that knowledge, it doesn't mean you can handle such position. Simple as that. So our perspective is to safeguard the SRC so that it will be in the right hands
Safeguarding in a way that you are going to allow those that are in finance to take positions in finance? Or?
Of course, because if it is a sensitive area and we shouldn't allow the SRC to be in jeopardy. For example, you don't have any knowledge about accounting.
But did you know it can be twisted where there is someone in finance, but the person cannot do the job as well? What if it happens that way?
That you should have the credentials for it.
What if the person is lying? How would you know?
So the vetting will come out with it.
The person prepares so well for vetting.
Yes, it will come out. It will come out.
Okay.
Definitely come out. Okay. Because what happens there, you may not have any idea. One way or the other, what happens now, currently in our finance sector, no student knows about it.
Okay. So if I get you right, it is true that it is tied to department.
No, it is not tied.
It is okay.
Yes, so, it's just definition, accounting background.
Okay. Is it just for them or every department has that?
So for example, now, as it stands now, if you are in second management and you might have done a course in, let's say, accounting, and you have certification to that, you can prove that. Why not? You will be allowed to contest.
Okay.
So you just have to go and prove yourself at the vetting to the panels over there that indeed you can do it.
You can do it.
Yes.
Okay. The conversation is getting interesting. Let's go for another break. When we return, we'll come on to discuss the projected policies of the SRC. Welcome back from that break. Now, moving on to the SRC policies. Tell me all I have to know. Tell me all we need to know about the updates on the policies. You have so many policies.
Yes.
And one of the policies, now let me talk about the welfare policy. You have something that says security and safety and reinstating the canteen block. So, and also driving school and license. I think we'll come to that one. That is the SRC drive. So let's talk about the security and safety and then reinstating the canteen block. How far with that?
Okay. So the security, when we came to office, we realized that students will always wait for late hours and then scale the old hostel.
Okay.
So we had talks with management. And then management has agreed. Just about 3 days ago, we met the acting VC, where he had to sign the procurement, to approve that yes, there should be that installation of security cameras. Okay. And then we also made effort to visit the office of the chief security to give us security tips, so that our students will be guided as and when they come to campus, because the vicinity, the locality where we find ourselves is no good. It's surrounded by these rascal boys and what have you. So you can be harmed at any time. So you should always be conscious. So that security tips were given to us, and then we have broadcast it on our social media handles. And at every point in time, every week, we take one of the security tips and then share with them.
Okay.
Yes.
So you think that is enough or something?
I can't do
because I have something coming up right now.
Yes.
Yes. So just yesterday, I had a rumor that about 30 motorbikes have been stolen on this campus.
30 motorbikes.
30 motorbikes.
Okay, so this is it. The thing happening, the incidents happening, and different it being reported
to you.
Yes. So, for example, I'm in the office. I'm going for meetings and what have you. If cases have not come to me, I might not be able to identify that gap.
It is not happening.
Do you get it? So unless it comes to me, then we now improvise. What measure should we put so that we can curb that situation?
Okay.
Because you can't just sit in the office and just know all the security tips and the possible things that may be happening.
And
sometimes, yes, sometimes it needs to happen, and then it prompts you as a leader that okay, these are the precautionary measures that you need to take to make sure you curb such situations that may come after.
Okay.
Yes.
You have lots of policies, and if we want to stress on that, we're not going to leave the studio today. So if you can give me, I don't know, some concise explanation to all these policies and how far you've come. I mean, the update on them, so we know that our SRC is working and indeed, he's changing the narrative.
Yes. Okay, talking about policies, I think one of the policies that I made to students was the back safe.
Okay.
So we realized that, yes, indeed, during exams and where we find ourselves, students tend to bring their valuables, their bags, which contain valuables, and then you are not allowed to enter the exams hall with
them.
Yes. So you leave it behind, and then before you come back,
stolen.
The second owner has come for it. So how do we curb such situations?
Okay.
Then we realized that, okay, if that is the case, we can improvise. If there is no permanent solution, at least we should contribute to solving it, and then management will take it up.
Okay.
Good. So we thought of bringing a 40-footer container, just like you go to the mall and then your luggage or your bag
is taken from
yes,
you,
it's taken from
given
you.
a card.
You're given a card. That same idea. So we bring the container, we furnish it, and then make it suit the purpose to which we want to use it for. So there will be a security man in there, an officer in there, at least 2. There will be cameras as well. When you go, you have to give your bag and then take a number, so that when you return from the exam hall, you can come for it. We have sat down to see that, okay, this thing that we are bringing, it is to solve a problem. But if you are not careful, it will also propel another problem. So, for example, if you are given a card which you can easily write on, it is exams time. Students will take advantage of it and also write something. Exams more practice. So we are bringing a solution, but if you are not careful, the solution may breed another problem. So what are we doing? Now we sat and then realized that no, the card shouldn't be given, but rather a wristband.
Okay.
So that wristband, it is with you here. You can go to the exams hall with it and then come back. You will not be tempted to leave it behind. So these are things that we put in place and it has been done.
Okay.
And another thing is also the digital billboard.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I saw that on campus.
Yes. So finally, it had to come, and then through the procurement processes and what have you, we procured it, and now finally it is there, it is installed. Why did we choose such a project? So as a leader, you must identify a gap and also solve it.
Okay.
You must be a solution-oriented leader. So realize that all the time, if SRC executive come into power, to relay information from management to students is a challenge. It's a WhatsApp, about 1,000 participants. Every day someone is saying something, someone is posting something. Others are using it for their businesses. And then you have an information which is very, very pivotal. Then you post it in.
Nobody's going to say
yes. And then I, as a student, I come after 30 minutes. Before I realize there are about 900 messages over there. I may not see what SRC has posted. But everybody, one way or the other, in a week, you will come to school, if not twice, maybe once. So definitely when you come, there is a central point on campus, which is the Facebook.
Yeah.
So everybody passes there, whether from back gate or front gate, you pass there.
That is why you have it over there.
So strategically, we have to position it over there. There were arguments and counter suggestions that were made to us that we should put it in front of the school.
Yeah.
But how many of our students use the school? And we are SRC, we are not targeting outsiders, we are targeting our students. So this is the problem we identified, and we want to bridge that gap.
All right, so we need to wrap up, but then give me, let's talk about the SRC Club, the update on it, and then you can continue and talk about the SRC Drive as well.
Yes.
So we wrap up.
So the SRC cloth. Students, as at now, think they are being charged for the cloth. They are student dues. There is a component or an element of cost in there which says SRC dues. So
it doesn't?
No.
So we are supposed to buy?
Yes. Ideally, you are supposed to buy. So this is how it happened. An administration came, and then it was their initiative to use the dues that has been collected to procure SRC cloth and distribute it. That doesn't mean you have paid for it. So it was done for years, and I had to come. But before I come, there was procurement being done by His Excellency Terry, the former president. Before he should leave, the goods were not delivered, the clothes were not delivered. Then Echi Damesi also came. It wasn't delivered before I came. So as I speak to you, I'm in the waiting to receive the clothes. Students are putting pressure that we should procure. since I stated earlier that I'm a finance person, I must be prudent in spending. So monies have been spent to procure a cloth, it has not been delivered. How then do I use another money to procure another one?
So now it is on us to buy the cloth.
Yes, but it is not even in existence at the moment.
It's not available at all.
Okay. It has not been delivered.
Okay.
Yes, so I want students to know that they have not paid for the cloth. They haven't.
They have not paid for it. It's not part of our fees.
No, it's not part.
Wow.
And if the cloths even arrive, it's about how many yards? 10,000 yards. So let's even use the male, the students, the guys for the distribution of the cloth. What it means is that you are going to have 2 yards for every guy. So divided by 2, that's 5,000 yards. So it's going to cater for 5,000 students. Now, if I'm to distribute it to the level 100s right now, if suppose the cloths are in and I'm to give it to the level 100s right now, the level 100s per estimate, they are about 10,000 to 11,000. So who am I giving it to? Which department and who am I waiting on?
Okay, so we have to buy it.
Yes.
That is the best thing to do.
That's the best thing.
That is what you said. It's the best thing to do.
It's the best thing.
Okay, now let's talk about the SRC drive so we wrap up.
Yes, the SRC drive. Coming to office, I realized that, okay, it's always about academics. But this is a technical university. So therefore, when you come here, there should be something technical for you. Those of us that read this accounting and what have you, there is something technical about it. But what is SRC going to also do to help the students? So realize that, okay, at least as an engineer and you went to a technical school, you should come out knowing something to do aside your engineering course.
Okay.
So if you have a license and you know how to drive, when you apply for a job and then the specific vacancy that you want, it's not available. There is a driving, something that means driving or delivery. You can go in for waiting for your opportunity to come so that you'll be promoted. Good. So why don't we give the student the opportunity to learn how to drive and also get the driver's license? That is why you brought out the SRC drive. Sure. Okay, so that was an interesting conversation. But before we go, what is your final say? My final say is that students should be patient and always seek information from the SRC. And most of the things that they think SRC should do, it shouldn't be the SRC which should be doing them. It's management. So we are to put pressure on management. And if we are putting the pressure on management and it is not happening, I expect students to also put pressure on management. They should voice out. So the management, not just pressure on the SRC, because we have been there and they are not doing it. So when they see that the students are agitating, they know that that is the worst thing to do. So definitely they will now call the SRC to come so that we can sit and judge and find a solution which will best suit them. Okay. All right. So he says, help the SRC and SRC will help you. Thank you all for joining in for this conversation. We'll see you same time next week. My name is Theodosia Agbovi.